Kite flying. Throw your dreams into space like a kite, and you do not know what it will bring back: a new life, a new friend, a new country, said Anais Nin, a French Cuban American essayist. What happens every year around the time of Vishwakarma Puja is that the festive smell of autumn gradually grips the air, and the mind gets ready for indulging in some pure and innocent joy, matching the merry spirit of the season. And very few activities in this season can be as enjoyable as the delightful act of kite flying. Come Sundays and holidays, and all the sky in different parts of many cities and their suburbs would be dotted with charming kites of innumerable colors, demonstrating stunning aerobatics in unbound ecstasy. Kites have often been flown as symbols of protest, revolt, and resistance, or as a sign of solidarity. In 1927, during the Simon Commission, people wrote Go Back Simon on kites to register their protest against British rule. The pure pastime of flying kites then became a mode of protest against the injustice and tyranny of foreign rule. Kites themselves symbolize freedom and individuality as they fly high in the sky and without company. Most youngsters today resort to smartphones and digital entertainment as easy modes of relaxing themselves from the stress and strains of modern life. But the ones who are still glued to this old form of outdoor enjoyment feel blessed to get real pleasure from the spool maneuvering the electrifying vicissitudes of the flying object. Great is the joy of gradually loosening yards and yards of string from the spool, sending the paper dream higher and higher into the blue sky. But greater still is the joy of snapping the lifeline of a rival kite, also striving for aerial supremacy. If the weather gods condescend to offer a blue sky, the impatient soul rushes outdoors with a spool in one hand and a kite or two in the other towards a relatively vacant space to launch his aerial mission. Even a couple of decades ago, when many cities and suburbs could boast of lumps of green here and there, the young kite flyers would be seen scampering about those green stretches with their eyes firmly fixed to the sky. There was also a sizable portion of kite players who would launch their ambitious project from the vantage points of their rooftops. But gone are the heydays of kite flying in India and in some other countries. There are numerous factors behind the decline. A number of tragic incidents, government bans, the arrival of smartphones, and changing vagaries of time have put the ancient pastime of kite flying in real trouble. In January this year, many people died in Rajasthan and Gujarat during the kite flying festival amid the celebration of Makar Sankranti. Competitive kite flying, a popular custom during the festival, not only claims human lives but also kills many birds that get entangled in manja, a coating of powdered glass made to strengthen the kite string. Similar accidents have also occurred on a flyover in the not so distant past when a biker's throat got slit by glass coated Chinese strings of flying kites. The National Green Tribunal in 2016 imposed an interim nationwide ban on the use of glass coated manja for flying kites as it was deemed dangerous for humans and avian creatures. Other factors have also contributed equally to the rapid decline in the popularity and production of kites all over the country. Another potent reason is the impact of climate change. Recent climatological statistics suggest that there are now more chances of rains in September than there used to be in the past. But kite flying is a very ancient and globally spread pastime. Some 2500 years ago, the Chinese used kites to send signals, measure distances, and even lift people into flight. Kite flying was spread by traders from China to Korea and then to India. Monks used bamboo and silk kites for religious and ceremonial purposes, sending messages and prayers to the spiritual world. By 1295, Marco Polo documented their construction and how to fly kites, and interest spread for hundreds of years. During the 18th century, kites started to be used in the field of science. In 1752, for instance, Benjamin Franklin conducted his experiment to prove that lightning was indeed electricity. In his novel, The Kite Runner, Khalid Hussein brilliantly portrays the passion for kite flying in Afghanistan, especially in Kabul. And if you were a boy living in Kabul, the day of kite fighting tournament was undeniably the highlight of the cold season. I never slept the night before the tournament. I felt like a soldier trying to sleep in the trenches the night before a major battle. In Kabul, fighting kites was a little like going to war. The kite, through the ages, has charmed countless poets, sages, mystics, fable spinners, legend mongers, men of letters, and filmmakers. We get mention of kites or kite flying in writers from Shakespeare to Khalid Hussein, from Robert Louis Stevenson to Somerset Maugham. Somerset Maugham's short story, The Kite, is about hapless Herbert Sunbury, a chap so obsessed with kite flying that he leaves his wife and later goes to prison for the sake of his all consuming passion. There are numerous remarkable quotes relating to kites. The former Prime Minister of Britain, Winston Churchill, wrote that kites rise highest against the wind, not with it. And in a similar vein, Napoleon Hill said, "Don't be afraid of a little opposition. Remember that the kite of success generally rises against the wind of adversity and not with it." When the last Nawab of Awadh, Wajid Ali Shah, was exiled by the British to the banks of Hooghly in 1856, he brought his passion for kite flying with him. It is believed that Wajid Ali, tired of his strings getting cut during kite fights, insisted that they be coated with diamond dust. The kites have a variety of names like Mayurpankhi and Chaurangi. In North India, it was once a preferred pastime, especially in Allahabad, where the kite would be called Patang. Lucknow also did not lag behind in kite flying spree, and kites in those days in this town would be flown from the kotis, that is, bungalow houses of fashionable rich men. Satyajit Ray, in his film Satranj Ki Khiladi, has shown the kite fights in the sky of Lucknow. The legendary singer Kishore Kumar also sang a beautiful song about kite flying in the film Kati Patang. The manufacturing of kites in India bridges far flung geographies. The kite paper comes from the mills in Bengaluru, the strings from Uttar Pradesh, and the wood for the spool comes from the jungles of Assam. Thank you for listening. But the ones who are still glued to this old form of outdoor enjoyment feel blessed to get real pleasure from the spool maneuvering the electrifying vicissitudes of the flying object. Vicissitudes. Vicissitudes means a change or variation occurring in the course of something. If the weather gods condescend to offer a blue sky, the impatient soul rushes outdoors with a spool in one hand and a kite or two in the other towards a relatively vacant space to launch his aerial mission. Condescend. Condescend means patronize. Show that one feels superior. But gone are the heydays of kite flying in India and in some other countries. HEYDAYS, heydays means a period of great success or popularity. The arrival of smartphones and changing vagaries of time have put the ancient pastime of kite flying in real trouble. VAGARAS, vagaries of time, means unexpected events or changes that cannot controlled and can influence a situation. Another potent reason is the impact of climate change. POTENT, potent means powerful, strong. Thank you for listening.